classified into substitutional impurity and interstitial impurity. If a foreign atom occupies a regular position, then it is called as substitutional impurity. If a foreign atom occupies an irregular position, then it is called as interstitial impurity. And the fourth category, they are electronic defects. So these are very minute charge carriers present in the crystal. During crystal growth, some partial charges are excess of partial charges will be there in the crystal. They move in the boundaries of the crystal. They, in the presence of the external electric field, they contribute for the conductivity. Sometimes to enhance the conductivity, also impurity can be added, like in diode, trivalent or pentavalent impurity can be added, so that you can change the electrical properties of material. So these four with the diagrams we have discussed. Now, in specific, we have to understand the basic concepts of Schottky defects and Frenkel defects, which generally appear in crystalline solids. That we are going to discuss in the today's session. I'll share the screen initially. Is this visible? Is this slide is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
So again, there are two similar vacancies we have discussed. Sorry, point defects, they are classified into vacancies and interstitials. A vacancy created in metallic solids or metallic crystals, they represent Schottky defect. That means the vacancies which are present in metals, they are called as Schottky defects. If you see the diagram, the atomic arrangement is perfect in two dimensions. But you can find at the middle there is a vacancy. Lattice point is there in the metal, the atom is not occupying this atomic site. So these empty atomic sites or a vacancy which is present in metals, these are called as Schottky defects. And also at 0 Kelvin, absolute zero temperature, I think all the crystalline arrangement in three-dimensional space is very perfect, and the regular arrangement of atoms will be there. But as the temperature of the metal into metallic crystal increases, then few of the atoms they acquire certain thermal energy, and they vibrate from their mean position, and they come out of the lattice to the surface, creating a vacancy. That means because they won't leave the metallic crystal, but what they will do is, because of the thermal energy absorbed by the atom, they vacates this position and it moves to the surface of the crystal. So this type of defect which is present in the metal, these are called as Schottky defects in metals. And you can understand it is a vacancy itself, but the vacancy present in metallic crystals is called as Schottky defects. It's of two kinds, Schottky defects in metals, and if ionic vacancy is there, that is also called as a Schottky defect. So these are the two types of distortions present in metallic crystals and ionic crystals, and we have to calculate the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in metals as well as in ionic crystals. What is equilibrium concentration? It is the number of vacancies present per unit volume. So how many vacancies are there per unit volume in a given crystal? So a statistical approach is there, a mathematical equation which represents the concentration of defects present in the metal. So this we are going to discuss and derive in the present class. And to understand this concept, let us consider a metallic crystal. And in this crystal, let us assume there are capital N total number of atoms per unit volume present. So in a metallic crystal, take a simple specimen, and in that let us assume that capital N is the total number of atoms present per unit volume. And small n is the number of vacancies created in the crystal lattice temperature. As I said, at 0 Kelvin there is no vacancy. But as the temperature rises, at any temperature, let us say capital T, let n number of vacancies are created. That means n atoms, they vacate this position and they move to the surface of the crystal. So small n represents the number of vacancies. And let us assume an atom itself cannot move. It needs certain external energy. So let the E suffix will be the energy required to move that atom from the lattice point to the crystal surface. So this we are describing. Consider a metallic crystal In this metallic crystal, let capital N be the number of atoms per unit volume and small n be the number of vacancies created at any temperature T, and EV is the energy required to move that point from lattice point to the crystal surface. Now you take the heading in the notebook, carrier concentration of Schottky defects in metals. Write the heading, carrier concentration of, sometimes it is termed as equilibrium concentration also. So carrier concentration of Schottky defects in metals. And you write these 2 points. A vacancy, first point, first slide, a vacancy is created in the crystal lattice in metals represent Schottky defects. That is the definition. Then the diagram you should take, because it's a derivation every time you will be getting for essay question, as an essay question. Then write down these 2 or 3 points. Crystal is perfect at 0 Kelvin. You write it, all of you. I will check later. After completing the chapter, I will check the notes individually from each and every student. That time, don't say these stories. I am at the hospital, I am going somewhere, I am out of station. Nonsense. In the class, you should be aware. Please note down these points. Would you be able to see? Anyone respond?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please go, take this, copy this, all of you. You take the definition, the diagram, and the two or three points which have been given in the bottom. The crystal is perfect at 0 Kelvin, so atomic arrangement is perfect. But as the temperature rises, some atoms they acquire thermal energy and they move from the mean position to the surface of the crystal. Shall I proceed? Shall I go to the next slide?
1 minute. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, please take it. Please go. If you finish, tell me, then I'll proceed. Anyone? Is it over?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you copy this one. In this you write, let the capital N be the number of atoms per unit volume. No need to write the sentences, simply you write capital N is number of atoms per unit volume. Small n is number of vacancies at temperature T. And EV is the energy required to move the atom from the regular lattice point to the crystal surface. As I said, we have to calculate the concentration. So finally, you should get an expression in terms of N. N is number of vacancies. So how many number of vacancies present per unit volume is the equilibrium concentration. Using probability functions and the statistical approach using certain thermodynamics, some 1 or 2 expressions you should take directly, because you can't get from that. Finally, you should get the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in metals. For that, you write derivation part. Capital N is the number of atoms per unit volume. Small n is the number of vacancies, temperature T, and EV is the energy required to move the atom from the lattice point to the crystal surface. Then, from the loss of probability, the number of possible ways to create n vacancies in the lattice is given by P is equal to capital N factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. To understand this, let's show one more slide to you. Is this visible? Students, tell me, is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
sir.
as I said, capital N is total atomic sites present in a given metallic crystal, and the small n represents number of vacancies. So, how many sites can be occupied by the atoms? Capital N is total atomic sites and lattice points are present. Among there are small n vacancies. So, how many sites will be occupied? Capital N minus small n. Is it clear? Now, the vacancies are indistinguishable because they are point effects. So you can't discriminate this is a vacancy, all are similar. So the number of these vacancies can be arranged, can be expressed by n factorial ways. And similarly, the atoms also, the atomic size is also very minute. All atoms are identical. So the number of ways these indistinguishable atoms can be arranged is represented by capital N minus small n factorial. So the number of ways these n vacancies and n minus n in atoms arranged among the capital and total sites is represented by NCN. Therefore, the probability of distribution is n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. If you want, you copy this also for understanding sake. If you write the expression directly, that is also fine because in the physics, this basics of this probability need not be given always. But for the understanding sake, if you want, you should copy this also. Capital N represents total atomic sites. Small n is number of vacancies. So number of sites occupied by atoms is represented by n minus n. Because the vacancies are indistinguishable, they can be arranged in factorial n ways, and atoms are also indistinguishable. They can be arranged in n minus n factorial ways. So the number of ways in which small n vacancies and n minus n atoms are arranged among total sites will be given by NCN. So the probability or possible ways of arranging these can be represented by P is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. If you want to copy this, I'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Shall I wait? You copy this?
Yes, sir.
Sir, please show before slide, sir.
What?
Before slide, sir.
Before slide you want?
Yes, sir. 1 minute.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Girls, did you copy this previous one, which I explained in word format?
Yes, sir.
Okay. what I mean to say is you can write directly in this way also, but to understand is how you get this. That is the background. Capital N is total atomic sites, small n is vacancies. So n minus n atomic sites are filled. Small n is indistinguishable. They can be arranged in n factorial ways. Similarly, n minus n atoms can also be arranged in n minus n factorial ways. So in a total atomic sites, the number of vacancies and number of atoms can be arranged by NCN ways, and which gives the number of possible ways to create n vacancies in the lattice is given by P is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. Shall I proceed now? Up to this, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Somebody else? Because in the online it is a difficulty to interact with each and everyone. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. In the intermediate, do you have the concept of entropy?
Yes, sir.
It is the disorder that is present.
Disorder randomness.
Randomness. So there is some deviation. That means crystals are imperfects are there. That means entropy will be increasing, isn't it? Because at 0 Kelvin there is no entropy. Everything is perfect. But because some vacancies are created, it disturbs the crystalline system. So that can be expressed in terms of entropy. The entropy of the system can be given by S is equal to Kb log P, where Kb is Boltzmann constant, P is the probability, number of possible ways to create n vacancies in the lattice. So you write this step also, the increase in the entropy of the system due to vacancy, because there is a creation of vacancy, disorderliness is there, so entropy will be increasing. It is thermal inertia. In mechanics, you can't change your state of rest or uniform. The body cannot change its state of rest or uniform motion unless some force acts on to change that state. So you cannot change your state suddenly. The same similar fashion, a thermal inertia will be there for a system, and some disorderliness is there. Then it opposes that, and in entropy it is expressed in terms of entropy, and entropy is represented by S is equal to Kb log P, where Kb is Boltzmann constant, P is the probability. Please note this step also. Shall I go? Shall I further proceed?
Yes, sir.
If you want to write Kb is Boltzmann constant, P is the probability. Then you should write S is equal to Kb log P, that is Kb log, the P probability can be replaced by n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. Just we are substituting for P. Take the next step. Instead of P, you substitute n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. Shall I go further? Did you copy?
Yes, sir.
Now, in the thermodynamics concept, you have a term which is called as Gibbs free energy. So Gibbs free energy, this step you should take directly. The expression for Gibbs free energy is given by F is equal to U minus Ts. Please note down, from thermodynamics, if there is a disorder, there is an entropy, and from thermodynamics, they can be represented the different physical parameters such as Gibbs free energy, Helmholtz free energy, enthalpy, like that. So from you write simply like this: from thermodynamics, um, the expression for Gibbs free energy is given by F is equal to U minus Ts, where F is Gibbs energy, capital U is internal energy, T is absolute temperature, and S is the entropy. F is Gibbs free energy, capital U is internal energy, T is absolute temperature, and S is the entropy. What is internal energy? As I said, there is some energy required so that an atom can take the thermal energy. It will be moved from the regular lattice point to the surface of the metallic crystal. So some energy is associated. As I said, EV is the energy required to create a vacancy. There are n vacancies out there. So the total energy created, total energy is required for the creation of n vacancies represented by n into EV. Because one pen costs 5 rupees, 10 pen costs 50 rupees. In the similar manner, EV is the energy required to dislocate an atom from lattice inside to the surface of the metal. So like that, there are n vacancies are created. What amount of total energy is associated here? N into EV. This is represented by capital U. So capital U is the internal energy required, which represents the amount of energy required to move and to create n vacancies. Now you have to substitute for S here. F is equal to U minus T as it is, and S can be represented by KB log T. So this is F is equal to U minus KBT log P. That is nothing but U minus KBT log. Again, P can be replaced by n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. This is the expression for Gibbs free energy. Please note down. Just we are so in the Gibbs free energy expression, instead of S, we are substituting KB log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. This we have substituted for entropy. Now, this I have explained just now. EV is energy required to move one atom to the surface from the lattice side. Then the energy required to create n vacancies in the crystal is the total internal energy U of the lattice. So there are n vacancies. For creation of one vacancy, the energy is EV. So the total energy is represented by n into EV. Therefore, the internal energy U can be expressed as U is equal to NAV. You take that sentence and also you write U is equal to NAV. E suffix V. Please take down. All must write this derivation, I checked. It's not only for 10 students or 50 students, entire section, because this derivation will be getting in the exam also. You have to practice this derivation. So all must copy. Don't take screenshots. You have to write and do this derivation. Is it okay? Shall I proceed? Shall I wait? Anybody respond? Roll
Yes,
number
sir.
70 is there?
Yes, sir.
Did you copy it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you substitute further. So F is equal to, the previous expression is u minus kBt log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial, and you replace for u. U can be represented by NEB minus kBt log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. This is the total expression for Gibbs free energy. So F is equal to NEB minus kBt log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial, where small n is the number of vacancies, EV is the energy associated to create one vacancy, kV is Boltzmann constant, T is absolute temperature, capital N is number of atomic sites. Note down this. Just you substitute for U. U can be replaced with N into EV. I'm proceeding. Now, in statistics, there is an approximation which is called as a Stirling's approximation. If x is large, then log x factorial can be written as x log x minus x. This we should take directly. So in statistical mechanics, statistics, you have an approximation. So to find the millions of values are there. So you can't manually calibrate it. There is an approximation, optimization, this is, you can say. So using Stirling's approximation, if x is very large, then log x factorial is equal to x log x minus x. This also you should find out. Is right from Stirling's approximation, if x is large, log x factorial is equal to x log x minus x. This we are going to apply for this log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. So if you take this into numerators, it can be written as log n factorial minus log n minus n factorial minus log small n factorial. Then use Stirling's approximation. Log n factorial, capital N factorial can be written as n log n minus n from Stirling's approximation. In the denominator, you have a log n minus n factorial. Once it comes to the numerator, it will be minus. So it will be minus log n minus n factorial. You should use Stirling's approximation. It can be written as minus of n minus n log n minus n. Minus into minus will become plus. So this is plus n minus n. And in the denominator, you have another term which is log n factorial. Did you copy it? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Because this step I took directly, because you know all your AC students, log n factorial by log n minus n factorial into n factorial can be written as log n factorial minus log n minus n factorial minus log n factorial. Then we should use Stirling's approximation. Log n factorial can be written as n log n minus n. Then log n minus n factorial with a negative sign, it should be minus n minus n into n minus n log n minus n minus n minus n. Minus into minus will become plus, it will be plus n minus n. Then you have minus log n factorial. So that is minus of n log n minus n. It will, if you simplify, it becomes n log n plus n. Simplify this, you can understand. Here minus n plus n capital N, similarly minus n small n plus small n, both will get cancelled. So finally you can obtain this is n log n minus n minus n log n minus n minus n log n. Capital N positive it can be cancelled, small n can be cancelled. Take this. After that, you should substitute in free energy. F is equal to, you have NeV minus kV log T n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. This is our expression, what actually we did earlier. In this, instead of this log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial, for this term, you should substitute this one, n log n minus n log n minus of n minus n log n minus n minus n log n. Now you will be getting F is equal to, this is NeV is common, kBT, instead of this log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial, you have to write this one. As it is, I have copied here n log n minus n minus n log n minus n into log n. This is the expression for F, Gibbs free energy. Please copy this. This we have the same, it is repeated. At thermal equilibrium, the free energy is constant and minimum with respect to n. So when equilibrium is achieved, this free energy is constant with respect to n. So that can be written as dou F by dou n at constant T is equal to 0. So free energy will be constant with respect to n. At thermal equilibrium means when the temperature distribution is uniform, then you can write dou F by dou n at constant T is equal to 0. Actually, the previous expression is for F. F is equal to NeV minus kBT n log n minus n minus n log n minus n minus n log n. Now, at equilibrium condition, we have dou F by dou n at constant T is equal to 0. Please take this. Shall I proceed? Did you copy? Anyone? Students?
Sir, wait a minute, sir.
Okay, I'll wait. Once you finish, you inform me. I'll repeat this, don't worry. Only this derivation will do in the class. Then I'll give another one to you. You try this for the next class. I'm moving forward. So dou F by dou n at constant T is equal to 0. Now what you should do is you have to take the derivation of the right hand side. So you should take the partial differentiation. Dou F by dou n at constant T is equal to 0. So if if you take that one, so the differentiation of dou f by dou n, dou by dou n of NEV, it is only EV only. So this is EV minus KBT is common. Then dou by dou n of capital N, it is 0 only because the small n in the differentiation part with respect to small n only. So it will be 0. And for the second term, that is this minus of n minus n log n minus n. It is 1 by x formula. X log x formula. The same we have used, and with the negative sign, it should be very careful for that. And once you take the derivation, it is minus of n by n minus n minus n by n minus n, and the differentiation of minus n is minus 1. This is UV method differentiation, plus log n minus n into n minus n by n minus n. It gets cancelled, so it only log n minus n remains. The same can be applicable for n log n, small n log n, because here you have this term minus of n into log n, dou by dou n of this one. It can be n into 1 by n first term, second one log n into 1. So once you take this with the proper sign, you will be getting minus n by n minus log n. This is equal to 0. It's simple differentiation. I think all you can do very easily. Term is EV minus KBT is common to all in the second term, and dou f by dou n of capital N is 0. So in first term it will be 0. Then you should use x log x formula. From that UV type differentiation, you can obtain this expression. So simplifying this one, n minus n by n minus n, it is 1 only. So minus into minus plus 1. Here you will be getting minus 1, both will be cancelled. So by simplification, you will be getting EV minus KBT of log n minus n minus log n. Finally, you will be getting. Remaining terms will be cancelled. Plus 1 minus 1 gets cancelled. So finally, dou f by dou n at constant t will be EV minus KBT log of n minus n minus log, which is equals to 0 because we are taking it thermal equilibrium state. Please note on this. By simplification, you will be getting EV minus KBT log n minus n minus log n is equal to 0.
సార్ అది డిఎఫ్ బై డిఎన్ లేకుంటే డో ఎఫ్ బై డో అయినా సార్?
Dou f by dou n.
సార్ డో అంటే పార్షియల్ వస్తుంది కదా సార్?
ఇక్కడ df by dn ఉంది కదా.
ఎస్ సార్, డో అంటే మళ్ళీ పార్షియల్ వస్తుంది కదా సార్? పార్షియల్ డిఫరెన్షియేషన్.
Okay. Up to this you have taken now. So in the previously it is EV minus KBT log n minus n minus log n is equal to 0. You take KBT, the second term in the right hand side, you can write EV is equal to KBT log n minus n minus log n. Just you take the second term to the right hand side. And again it can be written as EV is equal to KBT log n minus n minus log n can be written as log of n minus n by small n. Log x minus log y is log x by y, like that you can take. EV is equal to KBT log n minus n by small n. Now you take KBT in the left hand side. It can be written as EV by KBT is equal to log n minus n by n. All this is simple mathematics only, just rearranging the terms on either side of the equation. Just to bring KBT here, it becomes EV by KBT is equal to log n minus n by small. If you remove log, that is n minus n by n can be written as, here you will be getting exponential term. So e power EV by KBT. This you know in mathematics. So n minus n by small n is equal to e power EV by KBT. Or you reverse this one. Just take small n to the numerator because you need an expression for small n. So just you reverse this. Small n by n minus n is equal to, here you will be getting a negative sign. E power e minus, it is power of minus EV by KBT. Is this clear? Anyone respond? 93, you are there in the class? Roll number 90.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So here you will be getting small n by capital N minus n by n minus n is equal to e power minus EV by KBT. Now, sorry, this is another one. Yeah. So in this, now you bring this n minus n to the right side. So small n can be written as n minus n e to the power of minus EV by KBT. Just to take this left hand side denominator term to the right hand side. And one more thing, comparing with atomic number of atomic sites, number of vacancies are very less. That means if there are 100 atomic sites are there, one vacancy is there. So for mathematical convenience, you can assume that 100 minus 1 is approximately equal to 100. In the same manner, here also because small n is much less than capital N, you can assume that capital N minus small n is approximately equal to capital N only. Because number of atomic sites are very large when you compare with number of vacancies. So if n is much less than capital N, then n minus n can be equal to n only. The step is not I gave here. And finally, you can obtain small n is equal to capital N into e to the power of minus EV by KBT. Here you write the sentence. If n is much less than n capital N, then capital N minus small n is approximately equal to capital N only. It means this term n minus n can be replaced as capital N only. So n is equal to n into e power e minus EV by KBT. So this expression n is equal to capital N into e to the power of minus EV by KBT, it represents the number of Schottky defects in metals. The same is also called as the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in metals. Small n is number of vacancies in metals, capital N is number of atomic sites, EV is the energy required to create one vacancy, Kb is Boltzmann constant, and T is the absolute temperature. So this expression represents the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in metals. Just you take down this. If you take copy this, I'll once again in brief I'll explain this derivation. Did you copy, students?
Yes, sir.
Boys? Somebody respond?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. I'll revise this in brief. Sushma. As I said, a vacancy is created in a crystal lattice represents a Schottky defect. So this is regular pattern of atoms. One position is missing. This is the vacancy in metal. This is called Schottky defect. At 0 Kelvin, this arrangement is perfect. But as the temperature rises, because of thermal energy supplied to the atom, some atoms may leave their regular sites and they move to the surface of the crystal, creating certain vacancies, and these are called as Schottky defects. So in this topic, we have to obtain an equation which represents the concentration of vacancies present in a given metallic crystal. To obtain that, let us assume capital N is the total number of atoms per unit volume, and small n is atomic sites. Capital N is the number of atomic sites, and small n is the number of vacancies present in the given crystal at temperature T. Let EV is the energy required to replace an atom from its regular site to the surface. So EV is the energy. So the number of possible ways to create n vacancies in the crystal, it is represented by P is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. This logic I have explained. Small n vacancies are indistinguishable. They can be arranged in factorial and in base. Similarly, n minus n atoms occupy the sites, and they can be arranged in n minus n factorial because they are indistinguishable. So the total, the number of possible ways these vacancies and atoms can be created among the atomic sites is represented by NCN, which is n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. So as there is certain deviation, disorderliness, some entropy will be there in the system. The increase in the entropy is represented by S is equal to Kb log P, where P is the probability or number of ways, Kb is Boltzmann constant. And for P, you have to substitute n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. This represents the increase in entropy of a given system. Now, from thermodynamic principle, the Gibbs free energy is given by F is equal to U minus Ts, where U is the internal energy, T is absolute temperature, S is the entropy. So you should use the internal energy. Now, instead of S, you can substitute log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. So Gibbs free energy can be represented by U minus kBT log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. And also, EV is the energy required to move one and create one vacancy. Like that, there are small n number of vacancies out there. So the total energy involved is internal energy, which is represented by n into EV. So U can be replaced with n into EV. So finally, the Gibbs free energy is represented by NEV minus kBT log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. So this is the equation for the Gibbs free energy. Now we should apply Stirling's approximation. If x is large, then log x factorial is equal to x log x minus x. The same we are applying here. First we are rearranging the left hand side. It can be written as log n factorial minus log n minus n factorial minus log small n factorial. So then we use Stirling's approximation. You can obtain this expression n log n minus of n minus n log n minus n plus n minus n. Similarly, for the third term, it is minus n log n plus n, because negative and positive signs can be taken very promptly here. And plus n minus n both are cancelled because both they have a positive and negative signs. And finally, you can obtain n log n minus n minus n into log n minus n minus n log n. This is the expression for Helmholtz free energy. F is equal to NeV minus kV log T. Actually, this is the expression. So with this Stirling's approximation, it can be written as NeV minus kVT, and the log of n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial can be written like this: n log n minus n minus n log n minus n minus n log n. Now, when the equilibrium is achieved, the free energy is constant and a minimum with respect to n. So you should take the differentiation df by dn at constant t is equal to 0, and the differentiation of first term only EV remains, and like that you use differentiation for capital N it is 0, and using this principle x log x differentiation pattern by rearranging the terms minus 1 plus 1 gets cancelled. Finally, we can obtain df by dn at constant t is equal to EV minus kVT log n minus n minus log n, which is equal to 0. Now you bring the second term to the right hand side, which it is EV is equal to kVT log n minus n minus log n. Now bring you write this as log n minus n by small m, log x minus log y can be written as log x by y. The same we did here. Now bring the kVT in the left hand side in the denominator. It is EV by kVT is equal to log n minus n by n, and remove this log n minus n by n is equal to exponential term you will be getting in the left hand side. So e to the power of EV by kVT. You reverse this one, n by small n by capital N minus small n, you will be getting a negative sign here. It becomes e power minus EV by kVT. Then bring n minus n to the right hand side. So small n is equal to n minus n into e to the power of minus EV by kT. But comparing with capital N, small n is very small. The number of vacancies are very minimal, less if you compare with total number of atomic sites. So n minus n can be written as n only. So this approximation, finally you will be getting n is equal to capital N into e to the power of minus EV by kVT, which represents the number of Schottky defects in metallic crystals. This is the equilibrium concentration of vacancies in metal or Schottky defects in metallic crystals. Is it okay, students? Just
Yes, sir.
you practice this derivation, and if time permits, next class probably one more is there. Schottky defects in ionic crystals. Ionic Schottky defects or ionic vacancies are called as Schottky defects. Similar derivation we have, and one more derivation is there, that is the Frenkel defects. So three big derivations are there here. The second one is similar to the first one. One is a number of ways the atoms and vacancies can be, ionic vacancies can be arranged based on the probability. The entire procedure is set. So I'll give the introduction in the next class so that you can able to do the derivation. If you do that, then we'll go for the next derivation also. And in the next lab session, that is on Tuesday, which is a working day, I'll start the second experiment, VA characteristics of PA junction diode. And if you have any doubts, you can ask and submit the assignment before 12, otherwise it won't accept. Respond for the attendance. Roll number 61.